Hello all, welcome to part 35 of the Wireless LAN Security Mega Primer. In this video, we will look at how to go ahead and crack WPA enterprise networks which use EAP TTLS. So EAP TTLS is actually similar to PEEP in the sense that first a TLS connection is created, a TLS tunnel is created between the client and the radius server. Now inside that there could be multiple choices for the inner authentication protocols. Now typically in the case of PEEP with Microsoft, you had seen that the inner authentication protocol was MS-CHAP v2. In the case of EAP TTLS, we have multiple choices available which include MS-CHAP v2, the original MS-CHAP, CHAP and even PAP for that matter. So now what we'll do is we'll just quickly demonstrate that EAP TTLS is also susceptible to the same dictionary attacks which PEEP was susceptible to, right? So what we'll do is we will go back to our little virtual machine here where we have the radius server up and running, and we are also constantly monitoring the log file, as you can clearly see here. Now we will go back to the main terminal and go ahead and first ensure that the network preferences is properly set. Now if you use a Windows machine, you may have to use third-party utils as well, depending on which version of Windows you're running. What we'll do is we'll go to Advanced, and under .1x, let's select SecurityTube. This is the AP we are going to connect to, and the only method we want is actually TTLS, right? Now we can go here, click on Configure to decide which inner authentication protocol we require. So let's say we take MS-CHAP v2, and the outer identity can be given as anything. Let's keep it as demo, and we've told that we should be prompted for the username and password. Let's apply this, and now let's go ahead and connect to this network. Right, so this is automatically connected to our access point which is running in the background. So now let's go ahead and feed in the details, demo 1 2 3 4 5 as usual. And if you notice, it actually gives you a little error which was there previously, saying there is a problem with the certificate, simply because the TLS tunnel is to be created first, and this is where the problem has started. Now similar to the PEEP case, well, if the user goes ahead and hits continue, it's game over, right? So the moment we go ahead and hit continue, this requests us so that it can add the certificate. And if you notice, it says authenticated via TTLS. And now if we go to the hacker system, you would actually notice that we have gotten the MS-CHAP challenge and response, and the client is currently authenticated. Now it's important to note here that, well, the client may not even have been authenticated. We could have mentioned a dummy username, password, or if you think about the whole honeypot case, the client would have entered the right credentials, but we would not be in a position to assess it. But we could still use that to brute force the password based on the challenge and response in the packet. So just like previous, let's just quickly go ahead and run this. You're in the same directory PEEP, though could have created a new directory as well anyway. And then we give it the word list, and if you notice, eventually it cracks it to be demo 1 2 3 4 5. Now I will not get into how to go ahead and crack each and every inner authentication protocol, but what we are going to do is very quickly just show you how all of them work. So let's go ahead, disconnect ourselves, then let's go to advanced, .1x once again, and here let us go ahead and select a new inner authentication protocol. Not sure why this isn't responding. Boo. Okay. So as an example, we could choose MS Chap. Actually, let's take PAP first. And now you would notice something very interesting. Let's apply this. Let's go back here, restart the server, right? And now let's use PAP and see what happens. So we'll go and try and connect once again. This should ask us for a username and a password. Let's say Vivek, and SecurityTube is what I enter, which of course is false. And it would actually tell you, well, there was a failure. But if you just quickly scroll up, you would notice something very interesting. Because it is PAP, everything is just in plain text, and we can easily see the username Vivek and the password SecurityTube was entered. So if the client had actually been associated with our honeypot access point, well, it was game over, right? Because once again, simply because the client had accepted the certificate, everything was trusted, and the username and password were sent within the tunnel, which was captured by the honeypot access points radius server. Now we could alternately go here and even select MS Chap, which was the older version, which also is prone to a lot of issues. I'll leave it to you to probably figure out what they are. I'm just doing a quick demo here. So if we go ahead, connect, and let's say, this is a user who probably is entering something different. Let's say demo 1, 2, 3, because it's a honeypot, A, B, C, D, E, F, blah, blah, blah. And if we go back here, you would notice a lot of data going back and forth. Oops, I think I forgot to run the radius server. Guess probably we'll just have to reconnect this once again. Demo 1, 2, 3, demo 1, 2, 3, right? And you notice something very interesting. Well, we got the MS Chap challenge and the response and all of that, but interestingly, the radius server seems to have crashed. Now, I probably don't have enough time to really look into what caused the crash, but segmentation fault looks interesting. But at the very same time, even if probably some configuration issue was there, maybe, the funny thing is it actually should not really crash with a segmentation fault. That's a bit worrisome, right? Because this is almost like a little DOS attack on the infrastructure. And it seems to be very predictable, which is, even the next time you try to connect with practically any crap in here, it just crashes it, right? So I probably will take some time off, maybe sometime next week, to figure out what is causing the crash. But if you want, you can take a stab at it, or at least let me know if you can reproduce it on Backtrack 5 with the WPE patch, right? Anyway, coming back, let me start the radius server. And going back here, you could also use other inner authentication protocols. Last but not the least, you just have Chap. Click OK, apply, try connecting once again, feed in whatever you would like, and if you notice, authentication fails, which is okay, not a problem. But you could actually go up and collect this and look up what are the problems with Chap, which is similar to what we've seen before in other protocols, right? The challenge and the Chap password. Have a look at it. Let's go back to our slide. So the basic conclusion is that EAP TTLS practically also is just as good as the security of the TLS tunnel itself. And this is where if a hacker could set up a honeypot access point and the client ends up accepting the fake certificate to create the TLS tunnel, then it would be very simple to actually for the attacker to go ahead and get the credentials which were sent by the client. And if this is also based on dictionary words, well, he would be able to crack the password very, very easily, right? So this was the architecture. I guess I should have shown this slide before, which we've used. Same architecture, nothing different. And I guess that brings us, to the end of part 35 of the wireless LAN mega primer. And probably 2 or 3 more videos and the mega primer would be done. Please leave your comments behind. As I said, that is what keeps me excited, keeps me going. And hope to see you back in the next video. Thank you.